What's up, everybody? It's Josh coming to you with another episode of the Affiliate Marketing Show. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to stay up to date on the latest affiliate marketing news, tips, and trends. Once again, Josh from OfferVault.com, the industry's largest aggregator of all things affiliate marketing. We also have Mr. Paper Call Adam Young, as well as the industry legend right there on camera, Harrison Gevirtz, plus our special guest, Haiphie Hua, Head of Strategic Partnerships at CodeClouds, a team of passionate developers, analysts, and designers with the vision to transform your business. Haiphie, what's up?
Hi Josh. Hi, Harrison. Thanks for having me today.
And the reason she didn't say hi to Adam is because Adam's not here yet. He may be joining us. She's not just being rude to Adam, I promise. I think you definitely get the award for coolest name we've ever had on the podcast in the past 126 episodes. So you already got that title under your
Awesome.
belt. So, friend of the pod, Butch Hildebrand, told me we had to have you on the show. We had him on months ago, a while back, but he's like, you got to get Haiphie on the pod. She's got a crazy story. She's one of the hardest working people I know. I was like, all right, let's check out Haiphie. I don't want to bury the lead, but I know you do have a crazy story in terms of like just what your family had gone through to put you in this position to have success and how, give you the foundation to become who you are today. So can you kind of walk us through like your whole history going back to like your parents in Vietnam, what they had to go through, and just I don't know. I know it's a crazy journey. I don't even know it, so I'm listening with our listeners right now. But can you walk us through that whole process?
Yeah. So after the Vietnam War with the US, is my parents' country just changed and they were desperate to, get out and escape. And of course, they believe that like the only chance that they got is like to escape to America. And they rather die trying than to not. So my dad positioned himself to get close to the water. And when there was an opportunity to escape Vietnam, he told my mom was pregnant with my oldest sister at the time, 4 months. Hey, like we have a chance to escape. The three options can happen. One is we die. Um, Two is we get raided by by the pirates, and you might get essayed. Number three is we could escape and start over and get a chance of life and freedom. And so my mom is like a ride or die, and she's like, I'm down, let's go. And so they escaped. They were in the ocean for three nights. On the third night, they came across a storm, and my dad says the waves were as tall as the skyscrapers, he said. But by the grace of God, the waves never took them. The ocean never took them. So
What kind
um,
of boat? What kind of boat are we talking about here?
it's like a small fishy dinghy boat.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not
like
meant not
no,
meant
yeah,
for 30, 50 foot waves, right? Okay.
exactly. So by the morning, the storm calmed down and went away, and my dad said he saw like sandals and flip-flops like all across floating on top of the water. And I was young at the time when he told me the story for the first time. And I said, Daddy, what does that mean? And he said, those are the people that didn't make it, that tried to escape. So early on, he would just kind of recount these stories and say, like, hey, like, you're so lucky to be in America, to be here. Let's make something of ourselves and not to take anything for granted and just be grateful for whatever opportunity we have here. And so I'm just grateful that my parents took the risk um, and given us now four kids, adult children, the life and the opportunity that we have here in the States. So I'm very grateful for them, and they're my reason why. And whatever I do, I just kind of put them in my mind as I do the work that I do.
So have you been back to Vietnam? like
I
in
have,
your adult years? Yeah.
yeah,
Was that like a cool experience going back and kind of getting to see like where your family came from?
yeah. It's very surreal. I landed in Saigon and I just feel like, whoa, my ancestor walked these streets. I was like in District 3, in District 1, and it's like it's incredible. I do feel it's kind of maybe woo-woo, but I feel my ancestors supporting me. And yeah.
So yeah, I know you had a crazy like accelerated path in this industry. I'm sure like, you know, that journey your parents went on definitely fueled you to, excel and get to where you are today. But I found it like interesting the speed at which things happened. You shared some information from me. I think it was like 2016, the first day you were affiliate marketing manager, and by the end of the day you were the operations manager, and then within like however much time, not much time, you were like the VP of operations.
Mhm.
Everyone I feel like in just the workplace, regardless of industry, is,
Yeah.
always trying to excel. I don't want to use the word like term climb the ladder, right? But we're always trying to get higher and take on more responsibility, achieve greater things. How were you able to like move up so fast? Because I feel like that's not a normal timeline. Most people don't get promoted the first day on the job,
Yeah, that's
typically. So, like,
true.
how did that happen? Was it luck? Did you just like blow them out of the water when you showed up, or someone left and they needed somebody? What was that situation like?
Um, well, that's a good question. I mean, I just graduated from USC, Go Trojans, fight on, with my master's, and so I do have a lot of quite a bit of experience. I before I went to my master's, I did sales and marketing for a good 5 years before I went back to school, um, and. And I think right away, and they're also a startup, like they're an advertiser, like Nutriskin, ecom, and they were trying to like the goal is to go public. So I think right away they saw the value in the skill set that I could bring to them early on within the executive team from day one after they met me. I mean, yeah, like on the job, day one on the job. So
Something else I thought was great was like you talked about how you wore multiple hats during that process. People ask me all the time, like, oh, what do you do at OfferVault? And I'm like, honestly, it'd be easier if I told you what I don't do, because it's only like a couple
yeah,
things I don't do, right? Would you agree, like, there's a huge advantage when you're put in a position where you have to wear all these different hats? I mean, naturally, I think it just gives you a better landscape of the entire organization, and it just gives you that much more ammo for whatever opportunity you're going to go to after.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've just always been the person that loved like, okay, like how does it work? Like just kind of like A to Z. Just I like to kind of look at the big picture and then kind of go from there. And I'm so grateful that I get to learn all of the moving parts of the business. I do love, like I like organizing and like kind of overseeing things and kind of direct like the team of like, okay, we need to prioritize this. We need to turn this down and kind of like, yeah, I just kind of like to roll up my sleeves and kind of hit the ground running, really. Learn everything.
Harrison, how many hats do you wear today?
Well, I have two rotation for the gym. No, I would say that I have a couple different, we have multiple businesses and different focuses, so it depends on the day. But I would say that I wear 3 to 4 hats.
Mhm.
Sometimes it fucking just depends on the day.
Yeah.
Um, I think, a key skill that I still lack is delegation. I just don't like to do it sometimes,
Mm.
but it's definitely important, especially when you're wearing tons of hats.
Haiphie,
You know.
can you talk to us a little bit about like offer creation? I know you have some, time in this industry in that regard, but basically, like, when we're creating offers, how much do we want to rely on like the flashy branding versus like the back end operations? Because I think there's probably a common misconception with that in our industry. What have you kind of learned from your experience on that front?
Yes, branding is really important and having that brand recognition, but also to have that strong community of customers is really important. Um, but I believe that, any offer is it's not magic, it's science, it's the foundation, it's the systems in place, right? To make sure that your offer is going well. And I have seen many offers throughout the years, almost the decade, that the winning offers or top converting offers, they have the same elements, right? It's like you need like if it's like a physical goods offer, you need to have fulfillment, but the products need to be good, right? And then you need to have a really good customer service team, making sure that they answer the customer's inquiries promptly. Um, and then you also need a traffic and media buying, and you also need to have really good merchant processing, right? Good
I was
solutions.
just about to say people ignore like the payments infrastructure
Yeah.
stuff, and
They
it's crazy because they shouldn't essentially. So
Without
yeah.
merchant processing, there is no business. There's no business. Like we can't accept the cash, right? The payments, right? And so, a lot of offer owners, they just rely on, let's say, like Stripe, Mids, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like
Look,
super risky. Like you need to open up some other solutions, and just in case something happens, you can't use that Stripe Mids anymore. You need to have other solutions, and with other solutions you can also, like, there's different, like maybe lower percentages, so you can get to keep more net profit on your side too. So
So
yeah.
does flashy branding like work sometimes? It's not so much that it won't work, it's more about it's not going to work long enough to kind of like back out for you.
What do you mean by flashy branding?
Oh, just like, stuff that grabs your attention that like is not actually gonna like stand up over time, you know?
I think it's good to grab attention, and then it can convert, but long lasting, like we just have to try different styles and ways, right? So flashy branding, but on TikTok, humor works and converts really well. And then they can grow their, like, let's say, fan base, audience base that way through like humor. So I think it's really learning about what is your traffic source, what is your channels, and then really kind of understand that audience on that channel and then speak to them in that way. So, TikTok audience is different than on YouTube, etc.
And how much time do you like invest in the psychology when it comes to, setting up an offer, especially with the branding, right? Because that's like something I'm just super interested in life in general. A lot of books I read just are kind of like on how the human mind works and what we respond to. So like, what's your go-to resource when you're trying to really get into the psychology? I'm sure like, understanding your demographic is a huge part of that. But
Yeah.
what like can someone listening today actually take away from this episode in terms of how they can like approach understanding the psychology of whatever their demographic is?
So when I work with brands and the brand owner, I ask them, like, okay, what is your product? And do you know who your ideal customer is? Let's flesh it out. Let's work on the like the personas, right? So like, two to three personas. And you kind of need to know like who that who that persona is. Like, do they go to yoga, Pilates, or are they like a gym bro? Right? Like we really need to understand like who they are.
It's almost
Um,
like method acting, right?
yeah, yes, exactly. Yes. And then like the more we flush out this specific person, let's say on the female side and then the male side, right? And then truly know who they are, then we can go into specifically targeting them on like Facebook or Instagram.
So I know you didn't come from an agency. or have like a media buying background when you were first getting started. And we kind of talked about it a little bit, how you learned like on your feet in the trenches, which I don't know, in my opinion, like that's the best way to learn is just to get thrown into the fire. Was there ever a moment during that time at the beginning when you were unsure, like if this was for you because you were so overwhelmed with everything that was going on and all the fires that were kind of coming your way? And if yes, which I'm assuming obviously there probably was, how were you able to kind of like overcome those, moments of anxiety and doubt to kind of continue to excel and move forward on this path that you were on?
Yeah, so after I worked for the advertiser, started I started my own offer as well, like a Nutra greens powder brand myself. And it was just me and my dev team is CodeClouds. Now I work for the team. So it's a full circle. So it's just me, a campaign manager, and my dev team. But I had to make the decision. Like, it's like, okay, the real test is now. It's like my money on the line. I need to make this work. And it was scary, lots of like sleepless nights and a lot of worries. And for me, like I'm the first person to say, I don't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm going to ask the experts who do know, and I'm going to ask them questions, right? I rely on them. So um, I asked a lot of questions, like, hey, like, can you take a look at my offer? Like, what needs to change for better conversions? And then at that time, I didn't know, I didn't understand too much of traffic, but so I had to rely a lot on like affiliate networks. So, but then I would ask a good like, traffic buddy of mine, like, hey, like, please just intro me to really good pubs. And then kind of learning slowly. And then once I saw finally like the first few sales coming in, I was like, "Ah," it's like a sigh of relief. And then I just gained more confidence in myself and then kind of start scaling it that way.
Were you going to like a lot of conferences at this time, or was it not until a little bit later that you started kind of doing the in-person networking and
Yeah.
asking for help to learn? I guess that's kind of where I was getting at. Like, did you find once you did start doing that, people were very like open to helping you and getting you up to speed on whatever you needed?
Um, I believe that you have to be like shameless and confident when you're asking for help. Like, like, hey, like, can you help me? Like, I really don't know. And just and to my surprise, or not really to my surprise, but I find that like people are so helpful. They want others to succeed, but there's like it's mutual benefit, right? Let's say like a traffic guy, he's gonna want my offer, and so there's some mutual benefit too. So I
Yeah, it
would,
reminds me it reminds me of last week when Harrison called me. He said, "Josh, your muscles are so big and I'm just spending so much time in the gym and I just can't seem to catch up to you. How do you do it?"
I
And I was like,
can't.
"Man, I was like that is a shameless like that's a guy who is just really, genuine looking for help." So of course, I gave him some of my tips and tricks. Harrison, I feel like we're not getting enough of you on this episode, and that's my transition for
So
you to say something insightful.
no, well, okay. So the first thing I was thinking about is, we've mentioned CodeClouds, and I'm familiar with them, but I
Well,
think
we're
it's kind
about
of a
to we're about to jump right into it. Why don't you take us
cool.
there?
Well, I'm jumping into it then because
Oh,
I've
thank
been
you,
in this gig.
Harrison. Much appreciated. Why don't you go ahead and do that now?
Sorry, the pool guys driving me nuts.
You're cool. Subtle
I
flex.
want
Subtle
I
flex.
want
Yeah.
to kill the. I hate the pool. So another pod. We'll do the pool pod next.
Yeah.
But no. So I'm familiar with Code Clouds a little bit, but I'm not exactly sure how. A little bit, but I think it'd be cool to talk about how they kind of fit into the industry, right?
yeah.
Um, because
Harrison, we
they
need you
really.
to back up a little. We just have your eyes, and it's very weird. All
That's
right.
all
We
I
want to
do.
see your
You know
face,
what?
dude.
You got to unlock for more new
Okay.
podcast.
You gotta
So
pay for the
that's on the
for the
pre. You got
option.
to join the
Yeah.
Patreon if you want the full face.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, I'm about to like put like a blur box. It's just my right.
Oh yeah, dude.
But
Love it.
no, yeah, obviously I know that you can use them for design and development and stuff, but I think there's a lot more than that, especially for owning an offer.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I kind of just wanted to know about it because I've seen the name, I've seen tables at shows and stuff. But like I've never been a big ecom guy, so it's not my, I'm not an expert.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been around for over 15 years, and we specialize in direct response and performance marketing and e-com. That's one of the pillars, and the other pillar is custom software development as well. So, because over the 15 years, we've seen the one of the biggest top offers in the space. So we know what works and what doesn't work. So we can give that guidance, not just building pages or build being your IT dev, outsourced dev team. We can provide more than that. We also have a lot of great partners as well, where we can make that introductions for traffic or customer service, remonetization partners as well to help with the AOVs and the bottom line.
When you're doing all that
Definitely.
stuff at CodeClouds, what are like some of the challenges you guys run into, right? Because I feel like you're kind of hitting a lot of different areas and providing a lot of different services to this industry. What's a common challenge or roadblock that you guys kind of find yourself running into that, ultimately makes you better because obviously you're going to get around it. But I figure with like all the different stuff you guys hit, like, is there a consistent thing that is kind of slowing you up, or is it really just depend on the client you're working with?
Yeah, it depends on the client. We stick to what we know, which is building, converting websites and software development. But if the clients need more help, like let's say they need help with like remonetization or traffic, we have partners that can do that. Like, hey, this is not what we do, but talk to these people, right? So that's where I come into play. I oversee the strategic partnerships department for the company. So for me, my challenge is to vet out who's good and who's not good. But because I do have enough experience, I can tell. Like,
Well, that was my next question is how do you tell? Do you have, is it a gut feeling? Is it a vibe check? Do you have a certain handful of questions that basically you
Yeah,
ask
what's the
everyone?
qualifier?
Yeah.
so I grill them like pleasantly but persistently. I have to do my due diligence, right? I've been burned in the past for like bad traffic or whatever. So I just want to save that pain and for our clients. So I make sure I do my due diligence as well. So for example, let's say if it's for traffic network providers, I already know like who's good and who's not good. So already right off the bat, I can steer. I have like a small Rolodex of people that will introduce my clients to. Um, and then another like trickier, like let's say partner vendor would be like, let's say merchant processing. Um, a lot of them do the same thing. They have the same bank relations and very similar solutions. So like who who can I entrust to introduce my clients to, right? So that's for me a trickier. But I do have like trusted merchant processing vendors, partners that I would recommend for sure.
You feel like that's the type of thing you can know like right away. And for example, like I feel like I know everything I need to know about a person within like the first 5 to 10 seconds of meeting them. Like you hopped on here today, smiling, great energy. I was like, she cool, right?
Really?
Yeah, that's all I needed. Like, do you feel it's the same way for you when you're doing that process, or do you find sometimes you're actually like initially like this isn't going to work out, and then with your questions and your process, you're like, oh, I was wrong, or is
Yeah.
it pretty consistent in terms of your initial feeling?
I would use both for sure. I'll always like check with my gut instinct and my intuition, right away, the vibes, right? We don't like buy we don't buy products. We buy from people that we like, right? So that's why I think in the e-com world, if the brand owners can be more visible, like they can really like garner a really good community. They will like let's say cosmetics, like it's such a cutthroat industry. Like girls, like when we buy cosmetics, we a little bit have ADHD and don't have brand loyalty. So like the female customers will change different cosmetics brands all the time. But but then we get attached to, let's say, the brand owner. And then like let's say Selena Gomez's brand, right? Um, and so that's why her cosmetics line is doing very well.
Why
It's
do you
their
think why do you think there is no brand loyalty in the cosmetics space? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good question. I think it just depends on like the customer type. We just like to try different things. I would say like let's say I as a let's say an advertiser or as an offer owner, I do love male customers. They are very low maintenance. They don't complain as much. They don't refund as much. They don't charge back as much. Yeah. If they don't like it, they'll just like they won't buy next time.
Just don't come back.
Yeah. I like male customers, I have to say. But yeah.
When it comes to building websites, and I don't know how in depth you can go on this, not sure if it's, just in your wheelhouse as the head of strategic partnerships, but do you feel you've seen a consistent like design slash layout slash flow that typically like works better than others? Is it like a one page scroll? Is it a certain copy that's right on the first, above the fold page? Or or are you not sure? Which is also okay. Like
No,
totally fine.
so for ecom, I like to I like to advise my clients in regards to traffic. Always point them to the product landing page, and then from there you can like spell out all of the benefits, and then the offer of like you can then show the price bundles if you want, like save, like bundle and save, right? Versus driving the customer to, let's say, a homepage with all of these products, because that will lead the customer to confusion, like analysis paralysis. Like okay, let's say for like a Nutra brand, right? There's like Forskolin and Cleanse and a Garcinia and a Keto. Like I just want to lose weight. Like now I'm
Keep it generic. Does that do better then?
no, I think it's important to have a lot of SKUs, like different SKUs, as the offer owner, because it'll increase the AOV.
When you say multiple SKUs, do you mean I haven't done nutritional, 3 bottle, 1 bottle, 5 bottle, whatever? Or do you mean like Garcinia,
Hmm.
acai, whatever? It's been
Yes,
cleansed. I don't even know anymore. Like
yes,
which
I
one do
know.
you
Product types. So when I say SKUs, it's like different product types. Like I think it's important to have a variety of like complementary products um, that's synergistic to the vertical, right? To the neutral, let's say the diet space. Um, I would say, what is your hero product? Choose your hero product. Maybe it's the apple cider vinegar gummies, right? Drive it to that page and then spell out all the benefits. And then from there, then you can then introduce, just like Amazon, right? Um, Frequently purchased products. Our customer also really like this product with the ACB gummies. Then you do the upsell flow that way, one by one.
I know
makes
you're
sense?
also
It's funny you mentioned that. I will just say, so I was in New York a couple weeks ago for a conference, and I was invited to this dinner hosted by Flex. They're like this credit card. They kind of give cards for media buyers and stuff. Um, it was like an e-com dinner. I don't fit in at all. I'm a software guy. I happen to be a pretty decent customer of Flex's though, and I never met our rep. He was like, "Come to this dinner." So it was me and like all these e-commerce guys, and one guy was talking about how at his previous company, the biggest issue that he or the biggest mistake they ever made was like I forget, they were selling like children's food or like something for babies. And essentially it started with like one SKU, like we're gonna sell diapers or whatever it was. And within a year, they got obsessed with just adding so many different SKUs to the checkout process that like they didn't grow their business because they just like stretched themselves too thin. So like
Mm.
I'm curious, like what's the happy medium there? Because I completely was I agree with both. I don't know. So that's why I'm asking, and I just find
Yeah,
it so interesting because it's I'm hearing different things and I'm honestly thinking different things too.
that's a great question. Like you literally can't just keep upselling the customer. They're gonna get annoyed, right? So it depends on like how like enjoyable of the customer journey you want it to be. Like how brand focus do you want it to be versus like let's say the conversions, the money making side, right? So it depends on the offer owner, right? So there's a scale. So if you want to be more branded, maybe upsell them one to two, if that. But if you want to maximize the AOV, then add more than that. So it just depends on the vertical, the product, and the brand. Just really.
Makes sense. No,
You
Mhm.
I
mentioned
like that.
you mentioned owning offers. I know another thing you're a huge advocate about is, helping affiliates own their own offers, stop relying on the payouts as much and getting their own offers under their belt. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now who are trying to make that happen. So, what would be your advice in terms of like steps one, two, and three to kind of get to that point where they can start owning their own offers and relying less on the payout of a network or, an advertiser?
Yeah, there is a system. So just have really good partners in place. Like you need let me see here. Just want to make sure I have everything. So what's your e-com platform? Is it Shopify? Is it Checkout Champ? Is it WooCommerce? So pick your e-com platform that you like. And then payment solutions. I put that as number two, like top priority. You need like you more than don't just use Shopify Mids or Stripe. Maybe it's good to start, but in the meantime, as you're building out your offer, make sure you have other solutions in place, right? And then you need to have a really good fulfillment and manufacturing partner as well for your product. Really good customer service, whether it's, like live agent or email only, just figure out like what works for you and your brand, right? You need to have really good analytics software as well, because you need to be able to make decisions based on numbers. Um, and what I've found is a lot of advertisers are using like they have Shopify and then you know, but then they also have different CRMs as well. And then the analytics are not really like accurate. So it's really hard for them to make decisions. So that's one of the challenges I've been seeing. So, but there's a lot of good analytics tool out there that can help make it better. Traffic is always important. Um, I think there is a great and big opportunity for pubs and affiliates to have their own offer because the hardest part is the traffic because they're not upselling themselves. They're doing their traffic themselves. That's where I see affiliates are very successful when they can figure out how to do their own offer because they're not paying other people for traffic. They're doing it themselves. And so I think that's key. Like one of the most successful offer owners, they know they know media buying and they know understand traffic. So I think that's really important. So there is big opportunity for affiliates if they want to set up their own offer. Also, email, SMS retargeting, you need to be legally compliant. So just, ha have that legal advisor on deck as well. Content creation is really important for marketing and advertising. And then once you get your offer up, then figure out what are your traffic sources and your channels. And then for the affiliate to focus on the traffic that they understand first, get that to scale, then they can like branch out to other channels. That's what I recommend.
I think you just gave like a master class on that. So
It was actually
Thank
thanks.
really good.
thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you so much.
One thing that keeps popping up on this episode is payments and don't use Stripe. Did something happen with you and Stripe?
It's
Like what
happened to everyone on
what is
e-commerce.
Everybody.
can
Oh
you
my God.
can you walk us through it just so people understand why you keep saying to stay away from Stripe?
I want to hear what Harrison have heard first, and then I'll definitely chime in. I'm interested to hear his side.
Well, I will say this. I actually really like Stripe. Great product for many use cases.
Whoa, wow, didn't see that coming. Okay.
But if you're in this world of
Mhm.
what I will say consumer products,
Mhm.
I would suggest multiple solutions that are not them. I have to tread lightly here.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Right?
You love Harrison loves Stripe. We got
Big
it.
fan.
We're just gonna take that
I'm
away.
not saying that. Look, great product. If you have a software company, it's really good. If you have like a SaaS product, it's probably the easiest, best thing to do. But if you're sending products, you're sending people products that has a card physical cost, you're doing volume, they can crush your business overnight. Another thing that's important to note, and Hyphy, I don't know if you were talking, but I don't think I can hear you, or I just sucked. One of the three, two, whatever.
No, she's
Um,
not talking. You're good.
okay, sorry. But essentially, they will you have to be prepared, even if you are using them, even if you're fully above board, everything's great. They'll just terminate you one day and you're gonna have to wait for your money for 6+ months, etc. And this is just their policies. This is their risk perspective. Hate it, love it. This is how they choose to do things, and that's just how it is. And clearly, they've built it a very, very successful business doing so. But this is what you're doing. Talk to Hyphy. Talk to a lot of people in this industry. She can make intros. I can make intros, but I probably won't. I don't make any. If I ever make a referral to anyone for credit card processing, for the record, I don't do referral deals. So it's a real, genuine referral to someone that I like because I just like to pay it forward. But yeah, no, Hyphy, take the mic here. I mean, it's nice. It's a sexy interface. They pay you quickly. Oh wow, it's cheap, cheaper than a lot of these other merchant processors, sure, but it's not at the end of the day, right? Like if something like I
Yeah.
mentioned happens.
So bottom line, we can't just put all of our eggs in one basket. Stripe is awesome. It is for like, let's say new, like smaller, like e-com owners, right? Selling one at a time, straight sale, and they're doing it themselves or something like that. But it's not sustainable. If you have a plan to scale, then you need to have other payment solutions, period. You don't want to get like one day where Stripe decides to kind of close down that mid and then hold the revenue for 6 months, right? Because then that kills cash flow. And without cash flow, like it's gonna be really, really hard to,
And guess what? If you don't have the cash flow and then you don't ship your products, you are fucked. I'm
yes.
just gonna say it.
Yeah.
If you need that money from Stripe to send products,
Yeah. That's like the end of your business. You're done.
you're gonna have some big problems. I'm gonna say. So yeah, I think I didn't expect this to be a payments episode, but I think that's a huge thing that people forget about.
Yeah.
Also, even if you have the best bank ever and they're incredible and perfect, you really shouldn't use one merchant processor anyways, because it's just good to have redundancy from a technical perspective, from a risk management perspective. Like, you know, why have one merchant account when you have two or three with two different banks? What's the monthly fee on that? $62 and maybe some, like PC. You're going to spend $100 and it's worth it. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's definitely not like the most exciting part of the business, but it's so important. I think the merchant processing side is important and the traffic. And then everything else is just like, we'll just make it better and like make the business. Like, yeah, of course, like there's different converting elements that you can help, like make the offer convert better. Um, and you can put your offer on other channels like Amazon or TikTok Shop to bring in sales a different way. So That's just, I think, extra. But the foundation, you must have a strong foundation.
What are some of the biggest like
Exactly.
shifts in our industry you kind of see happening now and that you also kind of anticipate coming over the next few years, whether it be, AI related, subscription model related, anything along those lines. It doesn't even have to be those two. But what do you feel is coming and how are you kind of planning ahead to get out in front of it?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of like telemedicine offers kind of coming out more. Um, and I believe in medicine. My mom has stage 4 cancer and she's still fighting the good fight for 4 years now. And I think offering, really important products that that helps people in a convenient way through telemedicine, I think that's wonderful. And the product works. And then it's a good product to also supplement with the neutral products as well. So I think there could be a real strong brand there. If you have like let's say like Hims and Hers, right? Like Romans, they're like doing really, really well right now.
Why do you think that is?
Um, I think because the product works very well for their customers. And so once they get on it, they just stay. The LTV is amazing. I'm seeing a lot of like testosterone replacement, telemed offers, and male customers are great customers. Like once you get them, they're like hooked. They'll stay on for years.
Do you guys think there'll come a time where like people stop going to see primary care doctors? Because, like, I don't know, anytime I do, which is super rare, I always leave there feeling like I wasted my time and sometimes my money. Whereas now, I can usually get a lot of my answers from ChatGPT. Um, so I don't know. Like you just mentioned telemedicine, and I know like a lot of insurance companies offer like, a virtual visit now as part of your plan and stuff like that. So do you think like in the not too distant future, like going into an office will kind of become like a thing of the past?
I think it'll still be there. I hope that like virtual doctor visits is is more available for for the users. I think it'll still be there. Sometimes there's certain things the doctor needs to see in person, right? But for just, I don't know, for writing prescription, I think that.
Yeah,
Harrison,
no,
you're
just based.
it's like the doctor's like, Harrison, your muscles are getting too big, your skin's gonna rip, you need to take a break.
I say, give me more shit to make my muscles
Yeah,
bigger.
yeah, yeah.
But like more unhealthy things. Like, no, sir, please. No, I agree. I think the telemedicine thing is great, but at the same time, like sometimes it's in my opinion, it's a little bit too easy to go online sometimes and grab certain medications. And I don't know if that's really promoting a healthy lifestyle for Americans. So like if I have a cold and need some stuff, I get it. But something that, for example, and I'll be completely transparent, I have totally taken advantage of this. So, like, I'm going to say it's bad, but that doesn't mean that I think it's awesome. That I don't think it's awesome. Pardon me. So, like, you can go online. I haven't done this in about 2 years. So, like, this is old Harrison, but you can go online and, like, they will prescribe anyone any of these really gnarly ADHD medications. And, like, those are not good drugs. And you just say you have it and you can't focus, and they just give you a prescription for, like, a controlled substance. I don't think it should be that easy for that, frankly. Yeah, I get it. You can hustle really hard and do 18 hours and then yell at everyone. You'll be productive. But I don't know,
Is
certain
that why
things.
you were yelling at me so much 2 years ago, dude? Jeez.
It makes sense.
No, I remember I took those ADD meds and then I stopped. And people were like, why'd you stop? And I was like, I was just always angry, like little things. I would just be pissed. And I'd grind my teeth out of anger. And then I was like, yeah, you know what? This is probably unhealthy. And I just stopped. This is a couple years ago. But yeah, my point is telemedicine's amazing, but the doctors also provide a value. Also, they can see you. They can read like your personality, see how you're doing. And I think that's beneficial too. But like I said, if I have a cold, I don't want to go to the doctor to get like antibiotics. Like that sucks.
Yes, that sucks. And we still have to pay that copay when we
Either
know
it's
what's
the
coming.
same too.
Say
It's
again?
usually the same It's usually the same copay too. If I go in online or call, so like, or you go in or have to call or whatever. So that shows it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Hyphy, when it comes to scaling, I know most marketers stop at the sale. Um, would you agree that's a good time to stop?
What do you mean they stop at the sale? The first sale and that's it? They just leave it like that?
So
You know how many people? Just to interrupt really quick, and you please interrupt me, Happy. But how many people build offers and lose money or break even on the first interaction with the customer, maybe even the second one too, and then they come back and make money because it's a recurring product or an upsell, etc. It's pretty common. I mean, I remember back in the day when rebills were more prominent, people would make money on like the second rebill or third sometimes, but they'd make a lot of money.
Yeah, but I say like if you don't have, you can't rely on that, right? And
No,
it's
not always.
rules change all the time too. So now
Oh,
it's getting
that's true.
harder, right? So
my
like
point was is that Hyphy starts scaling when the sale happens. I was leading you here, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so I believe like when you build the offer, definitely have the plan of remonetization through like email, retargeting, cross-sell the customers, maybe through your customer service team, like you know, live agents, maybe, I don't know if that's part of the brand. Maybe for some it's not that. Um, or SMS. Yeah, but definitely once you scale, then start thinking about, okay, what are the other channels you wanna put your offer in? Is it Amazon? Is it Walmart.com? Is it TikTok Shop? Yes. So or it could be ClickBank, Digistore24, MaxWeb, Buy Goods. So those are other really strong channels to put your offer up. And for these platforms, let's say Digistore, ClickBank, they have their own affiliates too. And so you just set up your offer, and then the affiliates will drive the traffic for you. And so that's another really good way to go about it as well to scale. So then you're having your product everywhere.
Hyphy, it's been awesome having you on the show. One last question for you before we let you get out of here. Where can our listeners find you in terms of, upcoming conferences that Code Clouds and yourself will be at?
Yeah, so you can find me on my LinkedIn or Instagram as well. I announce all the time whenever I go to marketing conferences. The upcoming one is ASC New York City. I'm planning something exciting with the TikTok crew there at NYC. So there's going to be really great event with like top brands and offer owners that will be attending. So that's really exciting. And then I'll be going to Affiliate World Budapest as well.
Cool. Nice.
For myself, Josh from OfferVault, Mr. Papercall, Adam Young, the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz, and our special, very special guest, new friend of the pod, Haiphie Hua, head of strategic partnerships at CodeClouds. Let's make that paper. Let's make that dough. This was the Affiliate Marketing Show. We will see you next time.